Welcome to the coolest stuff on the planet.
Greetings and welcome, everyone. I am Matthew, and this is my co-hostess, Rachel.
Hello, and this little guy sitting here on the table is our zombie puppet. He's our coolest stuff mascot.
Yes. I think he's a mascot for all the podcasts that record here.
But anyway, so today's topic was inspired by listener mail.
So this listener mail, the author wishes to remain anonymous, and I completely understand. So here we go. Hi, I love your podcast. I'd like to make a suggestion. Meteora, Greece is definitely one of the coolest places on the planet I have ever been. The geography is awesome. It's in a mountainous region of Greece and it has many rock towers. It's been inhabited for a long time by hermits, holy men, and then later on monks who built their buildings on the top of the rock towers. You should definitely look into doing a podcast on Meteora. Thanks.
So here we go. Let's talk about some rock towers. Located in central Greece, the Meteora, as it's called, is a unique geographical region that features these giant sandstone rock pinnacles. And they're pretty dramatic because they stick up out of this massive plain in Thessaly. Oh, yeah. They average about 1,000 feet, but they can go up to 1,800 feet in some places. So
these things are huge. What makes these so special? Well, I'll tell you. It's the Greek monasteries that are perched on top of them. At least that's what we think is awesomely cool about them. So what's their story? Check it. In the 10th or 11th century, hermits, much like our producer Tyler over here, climbed their way up these rocky cliffs, and in an attempt to more literally embody their titles, they began living in caves and fissures along the way up.
They're doing hermity things. And so they were all hanging out there on the bottom layers of the rock, not at the top yet. And then gradually they made their way up to the top. And in the 14th century, you have Greek Orthodox monks who start showing up, and they build a bunch of monasteries smack dab on top of these rocks. And the reason that they did this in the 14th century was because Greece was being invaded by the Ottomans, the Turks. And so they thought, what better place to avoid the problems of the world than on top of giant rocks?
Exactly.
No one can reach.
At the community's height, there were 24 functioning monasteries, and today there are only 6 that are inhabited. 2 of which now are convents run by nuns, and there are also some ruined monasteries, which kind of makes me want to play Diablo 2. Anybody? No? Okay.
Crickets.
Sorry.
So anyway, so the question that might be foremost on your mind, which was foremost on mine, and probably yours, Matt, is how in the heck did they get up there?
Yes,
and how in the heck did they build those monasteries on top of the rocks? So, like anyone with a rock, they climbed upwards, and then once they're up there, they needed a better way to get up and down. So here's what they did. They used retractable rope ladders, which they would kind of lash together and climb up and down. And this is awesome, I love this, they used a hand-cranked winch, which was stationed in a high tower, and then they pulled up this net basket. So they would lower supplies up and down, and even people in this net basket.
Like a big well, an exterior well. That's pretty cool. Well, apparently this process could take a long time. And in the case of one monastery, it allegedly took 22 years to cart the building materials up. And then once they were all up there, it took less than a month to construct the monastery.
Man, that is what you call anticlimactic, huh?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Very sad. Sorry, guys.
So today when you visit the monasteries, you can actually see these towers and the winches with the rope and the net baskets. It's pretty cool. And I was surprised to find that they still sometimes use this method, although they put in a motorized winch, so it's not hand cranked anymore.
Yeah, and there are steps now that are carved into the rock that you can use, and there are rock tunnels and bridges, mostly to help tourists and pilgrims and residents just move around a little more easily. Surprisingly, though, these steps were only created in the 1920s, Rachel.
Yeah, that's crazy. So until very recently.
Yeah.
They had a hard time getting up and down.
In my head, I just see a bunch of flappers, like from the United States, going up there, carving out rocks, listening to...
In their flapper dresses and their... Yeah. Oh, one little piece of trivia I wanted to add. I thought you would think was cool, Matt. In addition to the roads and the steps and tunnels and stuff that they put in so that it would be easier to get up there, there's also a cable car that some monasteries have that basically... So So the monks and the nuns will go back and forth in the cable car
Okay.
with provisions and people and stuff.
Nice.
It's pretty cool.
Very nice.
Don't forget to check out all of these monasteries, but probably the most famous of all of them is called the Great Meteora, and that was the first one that was ever founded on the cliff tops. And some of the sites you will see here, aside from the normal church and the monks' cells and etc., there's a wine cellar. You can see the old monks' kitchen, and there's even an ossuary, which is basically a sort of a thing made of the bones of dead monks.
Ooh.
A little bit macabre, but interesting.
I'd like to see that. One more interesting fact before we go, guys. The Monastery of the Holy Trinity was featured in the 1981 James Bond film For Your Eyes Only.
Which I think actually is the only James Bond movie, old one, that I've ever seen.
Old one?
Yeah.
You mean
Well,
one of the...
one of the original...
Yes, there
Actually,
you go.
I don't know when the originals...
No.
Aren't they much
70s?
older?
Our producer Tyler did kind of a frowny head nod, so I think that means perhaps, maybe.
I just think he probably thinks we're dummies. So.
I think he's ready for us to go. Okay, all right. So, yeah.
So that's the end. That's the Meteora and the monasteries. It's pretty cool. If you want to learn more fun trivia about this place and this monasteries, please do check out Amanda's blog post.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Monks in the Sky on houseofworks.com. It's
Excellent
fantastic.
And if you want to learn more cool stuff, check us out on Facebook. That's facebook.com/cooleststuff. Also on Twitter, www.twitter.com/cooleststuffhsw. Please put that HSW in at the end, or you will not get us. You'll get somebody else.
And of course, you can always learn more about Greece or monks or monasteries or rock formations at howstuffworks.com.
For more on this and thousands of other topics, visit howstuffworks.com and let us know what you think. Email travelpodcast@howstuffworks.com. Don't forget to check out our other podcasts, free on iTunes.